General McLear stared off at a small island in the middle of a lake. He looked pensive. Something was clearly on his mind. Tony walked up behind him. Sir, our scouts have found the convoy along the Plastoy Valley. Completely destroyed. Were there any survivors? No, there were signs of executions. It seemed like the Reds mercilessly killed everyone. Ugh. This seems strange for the Reds. They usually aren't so, well, brutal. Perhaps there is something in it for them, or they have a different objective than the Greens. I suppose only time will tell. In the meantime, we must honor our dead. Just then, a tan soldier walked up to the two men. Ah, Hunter, welcome back from your mission. I'd like to introduce you to our new ally, Tony. It's a pleasure, Hunter said. Sir, the new weapons are ready to be used in the field. It will devastate the enemy. They will never see it coming. Excellent. Just in time for a little revenge. Tony, I want you to take the new weapons and put them to good use against the Green Army's military base that is just a few miles ahead. It should be heavily defended, but this should give us the edge. What new weapon is it, sir? Super tanks, Tony. Super tanks. Tony gathered the men together and began their march towards the front lines. The Greens would surely see them coming, but they had no idea what was in store for them. Hey guys, what is going on? It's Daily Tactics here, and today we are back with Army Men Civil War Episode 5. Now today, as you probably gathered from that introduction cinematic, the Tans have a new super weapon, and that would be the new Pershing tank. These tanks are extremely sturdy. They have a great cannon. They have amazing armor, and 2 or 3 machine guns on them. I forget. Yeah, no, 3. There's one in the turret, one in the hull, and then one on top of the hull. These things are absolute beasts, and they are going to make mincemeat of the Green Shermans. So yeah, the Tans are coming in full force against a Green military base. They've got some M24 Chaffee light tanks and some Stuart light tanks along with their Super Pershings. These are mainly to act as cannon fodder so that the Greens don't know which tank to target first, and hopefully they target the light tanks and the Super Pershings don't take too much damage and they can keep on fighting. They've also got a good amount of infantry with them. Of course, less infantry than the Greens have on the field, probably half as much infantry, considering the Greens are known for their population and the Tans are known for their tanks. Tony is here leading the charge, and yeah, we'll see what happens with them. In terms of the Green defense, we have about 4 stages to this battle. The first stage is this outpost over here. This outpost is really only comprised of like 8 to 10 men. They are just here to warn the Greens that, hey, the enemy is upon us. That's really their duty. Then there is stage 2 over here, which is a bit better of a defense. It's pretty few and far between in terms of men, but they are there. They do have a few Pershings, a few anti-tank guns, but overall this second stage of defense is pretty abysmal in of itself. It's not super strong, and it will likely fail relatively quickly. Then there's the third stage over here, which starts right about here, where they've got a lot more tanks, they've got a lot more anti-tank weapons, and they've got a lot more men chilling in these trenches here, and they're going to put up an excellent fight, I think, at the third stage. And then the fourth stage, which is by far the best, is where there's even more men lining these bunkers here. They've got very nice cover, and they've also got 2 Sherman tanks, a M24 Chaffee, and some anti-tank guns. These pack guns are very, very powerful and can easily take out a Pershing. Oh my god, the phone's ringing. Of course, right when I'm getting into the video. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this battle rolling. Ugh, I hate it when the phone does that. Rings. Of course, it's doing its job, but, you know, in the middle of a video. Okay. The AI loves to do this thing where they just sprint men forward and they don't allow them to shoot or anything like that, so I'm just going to stop these men from suiciding. Call it me having a heart or something like that, but I don't think they should be doing that. Here's Tony, the man himself, charging forward bravely, might I add, and actually he might be one of the sprinters we don't want. So let's stop that from happening. Oh, his comrade just falls right there as this bazooka guy could get some early kills on some of these tanks. A lot of the light tanks speeding ahead. Let's see. Ooh, rocket just barely missed that guy. No, he gets chopped down before he can take out any of these tanks. It looks like the Tans are going for a bit of a blitzkrieg method here with the tanks speeding way ahead of the infantry. I mean, it's been proven to work, I guess, so we'll see if it works in this instance. Yeah, a lot of the light tanks are getting much farther ahead than the Pershings, mainly because the Pershings just don't have speed as one of their strong suits. One of the tanks has already gone down, but like we're expecting multiple of these tanks to be going down relatively quickly. This green Sherman just took a heavy hit, but it is still operational. Flaming minorly, but it is tracked. It's not going anywhere, and it is taking more and more hits now. Its crew is probably pretty terrified for their lives. More green tanks are firing away as well. Huge explosion coming from one of these Stuarts and a M24 Chaffee. Oh, another Stuart too. Man, these are taking a beating, but the Super Pershings are trailing from behind. Many of these light tanks are going to go down relatively quickly. But hopefully the Pershings for the Tans manage to make it through a little bit more. The green infantry is starting to go down bit by bit, though they are putting up a nice little resistance here and there. We see they are putting up a fight. They're probably terrified to run, probably scared of their own generals, but you know, they've got some pack guns here firing away, hopefully taking out a few targets. But the sheer number of Tan tanks at their disposal is pretty daunting here. And these Chaffies are starting to get heavily targeted as more and more of the light tanks have gone down, and now the green guns are focusing on them. This would be a terrifying sight to be in the second stage of this defense, which is crumbling, and we are starting to look at the third stage now. Still plenty of guns and plenty of bazooka infantrymen, by the way. These things can absolutely wreck some tanks, so we'll see how they come into play. Tan infantry is trying to keep up with the tanks, but often being left alone here. The tanks are just charging forward, full speed ahead. I've actually run this battle a few times, and each time I've run it, a different thing happens. One time, all of the Super Pershings were taken out, like, almost immediately. Another time, the Tans just absolutely dominated the Greens, and the Greens weren't able to do anything. So it's a very interesting battle in that it can go either way. So I'm just curious to see how it goes this time around. Seems like the Tan lines are holding. They're managing to actually take out some of these Super Pershings here and there. They're really starting to actually get them now. So the Tan tank force is beginning to be halted. And now it's going to be more and more up to the infantry, which is taking a bit of a beating here. But there's still many of them left alive, and they will be able to at least put up a bit of a fight here. Let's see. Oof. Huge losses over here for the Greens as their front line becomes more and more destroyed. If you really think about it, this is a very key battle here. Oh my god, this light tank is getting gutsy, and boom, it is gone. Taken out by this pack gun way back here. This is a key battle for both sides, as a green victory would really, really cripple the Tans. The last battle between the Greens and the Tans, or well, the Green-Red Alliance and the Tans, resulted in, oh my god, the base is burning. Oof. An oil truck must have been hit. That took out and cleared a couple of these men in the bunkers, as well as some of the ground soldiers. That is no bueno. So yeah, that would be a second victory in a row for the Green-Red Alliance, and would leave the Tan army just absolutely crippled, with a very small fighting force left. And if the Tans win, then they would have a military base, a solid defensible structure, deep within Green territory, which is nothing to scoff about. That would be a huge victory for the Tans right there, and a huge resource grab for them. So really, this battle whoever wins it is going to have a huge advantage in the coming wars. And it's looking more and more like the Tans might be having it here. They're getting very far ahead with their infantry, although pretty much their tanks have been all destroyed now. So it's just up to their infantry, and they do have to cross paths with 2 Shermans left alive, as well as... Let's see. Well, this pack gun just went down, but this one is fully operational. And I think it just took out the Super Pershing over here, so really this battle could go either way still. Green soldiers, look at this guy. He is holding his position like a champ, firing out this window, getting kills over there and kills in the inside. He just went down, but look at the bodies. That man is a hero. Green troopers are probably panicking for the most part right now. You know, the enemy is literally on their doorstep, wiping them out. But, you know, they're probably more fearful of their command structure than they are of the enemy. I seem to have lost Tony. Perhaps he was knocked out at some point during the battle and is unconscious on the battlefield. You always got to remember, during battles, and this proves true in real war, that the majority of troops don't actually die. They're just wounded. Casualties does not mean deaths. It means wounded plus deaths. So, 2 very different things. And so the majority of the troops that are on the ground here are probably wounded, although many of them are likely dead as well. So each side could recuperate some men here. Well, the winner would obviously take them prisoner, but you know, that's beside the point. There's really not many green infantry left alive, but there are 2 tanks. Ooh, this guy got flushed out by a grenade. That's a shame. This guy's still standing tall. He's got an M16. He could definitely take out a few guys here. He's going face to face with a Tan, gets a few shots off, doesn't manage to take him out. These Shermans are putting up like a Fury-like defense. Ooh, that guy got flushed out by a grenade as well. These 2 tanks and the pack gun, let's not forget about that bad boy, are putting up a Fury-like defense. Tanks versus infantry. The Tans do have quite a few bazooka men. Here's one now. Is he going to fire? No, he dies before he can get the shot off. And the infantry just needs to get 1 or 2 bazooka shots off on these tanks, and they could take them out. 1 shot hit right here. Didn't manage to penetrate the armor, though. And the machine guns keep rattling off, taking out more Tan men. So this is really a last-ditch defense for the Greens here. Are there any more Tan tanks left alive? There are actually quite a few. This thing is just severely damaged. This one as well. This one as well. Pretty much all of them are damaged to the point where they just can't move forward in the battle anymore. But they are still technically alive, so they can be salvaged. Meanwhile, these green tanks are still living. Even this pack gun is still living. Oh my goodness. And Tan soldiers just can't make it past this point where the Greens are gunning them down with these tanks. Whenever they try, they just die. Brutal. And bazooka troopers are just out of range. They need to get a little bit closer. Here's one right here. And he's contemplating whether or not to move forward, be a brave soldier, likely die for the cause, and just get that rocket off, make an attempt, but he's probably shaking in his boots right now. Terrified. Alright, let's see. He's moving a little bit further forward. Ooh, this machine gunner bravely setting up over here, taking shots at this pack gun. Manages to kill one of them, but dies himself. And the other pack gun crew member is still able to fire his gun. Alright, this bazooka guy. We're counting on you, man. There's not a lot of Tan bazooka members left. I really actually only see that guy. Yeah, the rest are machine gunners or M16 soldiers, riflemen, things like that. Come on, this bazooka guy, he's got to do something. The rest of the Tan soldiers are just getting absolutely obliterated right now. And it looks like the Sherman's still trying to fire at some of these down tanks back here. Ooh, and it's even hitting them. I mean, look at all these These marks right here on that tank. Brutal. Alright. Well, there's still just tons of TAM infantry. There's even some just chilling back here. They didn't want to go any further forward, apparently. But let's drag them forward. Everyone's got to support the cause here. Don't care if you're scared. You gotta come help. Come on forward here, boys. Alright, so the tan soldiers who were in the back are now coming forward. Ooh, a lot of them are bazooka men. Hey, that's very good. Interesting. I wonder why it's majority... Oh my god, it's like all of them are bazooka men. That's weird. Right? Oh my god, they all are. What? Why is that like the common trend for bazooka men to stay behind? Oh, one of the super Pershings that was just damaged has finally been taken out by this Sherman over here. How many kills does this thing have? 59 tan soldiers have died to this thing's hand and 2 tanks. How about this one? 4 tanks and 41 tan soldiers, and the numbers just grow as they cross paths with it. How about this? Oh, this artillery piece finally goes down. It only managed to get 4 kills, but I mean, it was standing for a good while there. There's 2 tanks remaining, and we got bazooka reinforcements. The Tans have called them forward. And let's see what they can do with them. They're just kind of chilling for now, as more soldiers get gunned down. Alright, do we want to... Shall we just progress this battle a little bit, because we're just delaying the inevitable of these tanks dying at some point. So let's just march the Tans out here. Come on, lads, fight! Bazooka men, fire! Seriously? Oh, this one might be going down pretty soon. Bazooka men firing at it, and the crew has bailed out. Obviously, they realized something was wrong. They're putting up a little bit of a fight, but they go down themselves. So it's just one last tank. And the Tans still have yet to take it out. So let's just send forward the Tan forces, because they got to. Alright, we're doing a double-pronged attack. Looks like the first prong has died. These guys going up here trying to get an advantageous point. One bazooka man over here. Fires immediately. Roasts this. Oh my goodness. Ho ho. Absolutely demolished. There is no way the crew are bailing out of that bad boy. So, the Green Army has lost this fort. Huge victory for the Tan soldiers as they march in and claim their prize. But at what cost? Their already scarce infantry has just been cut down super hard, and they lost a ton of tanks. Although I'm sure the tanks aren't so much their worry as the infantry is, because they've got the infrastructure to just create tons of tanks. So let's check out the losses here. Starting in the very back, yellow are green soldiers, red are the Tans. 3 Tans went down for some reason way forward over here. They must have gotten hit by like an artillery strike or something like that. Greens went down, that's just the outpost, you know. Then on the second stage, we see a lot more Tan deaths over here. This was, of course, a pretty good area of resistance for the Greens, and we see a lot of the light tanks got taken out at this stage. Then, moving on to the third stage over here, we're seeing an increase in Tan deaths, as would be expected, and, of course, an increase in green deaths. Green tanks were swiftly wiped out, and not a ton of Tan tanks died at the third stage. Then, besides these, but I would argue that... Oh, hey, they repaired this. I would argue that these tanks were taken out at the fourth stage due to the Shermans and the pack guns in the fourth stage. But the trenches, surprisingly... Well, I guess they killed a lot of Tans back here, but then once the Tans stormed the trenches, they didn't take too many kills. And then in the base itself, just tons of Tan death. These soldiers were absolutely brutally killed when trying to attack this area. And it was rough. It was very, very rough. And in the fourth stage, I think, is when all of these Pershings died. over here. Although many of the tanks are just damaged and they are easily repairable for the tan, so that's not a huge loss. And this guy is just clearing the way for the rest of the infantry to get in and the rest of the tanks. Um, okay. Alright, bud. Seems a little violent. Either way, guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Comment, rate, and subscribe if you did. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the next Army Men Civil War episode. Let me know what you want to happen, your hopes, your dreams, all that good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't. Smack that like button. I don't know. That's cringy when people do that. But yeah, if you want to like the video, if you enjoyed it, go for it. I'd appreciate it. If you didn't like it, don't do that. But, you know, it's up to you. Either way, thanks so much. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.